Welcome to Yerba Mate Talks.
Welcome to the Aftershow. I am Max. This is Kat. And today we had a debate or something. More or something than debate. You might have seen that now we have two live streams going on right now. One is the regular live stream. And there's also another live stream that is the vertical for people that are... For people that are watching on cell phone. Yes, Kat is attacking me again. If you want to see it on the white screen, just go to the channel, to the live streams, and you'll see both. One has a cell phone icon, and the other one has the regular... Sorry, I got distracted. So, yes. All right. Let's get the link over to the peeps. There you go. No. Basta. And we'll pin it to the top of the side. No, you fucking terrorist. No. And no. Yes, for the people that is watching, there are two separate chats, but StreamYard integrated them, and I can see both chats at the same time, which is pretty cool. So let me pin that to the top of the side chat, and we'll get started. Nope. No. Basta. No. Stop. No. Damn you. What did I do? Okay, here, pin. Boom. There we go. All right. I broke out my tank top because even though it's not summer yet, it's pretty hot tonight. And it was actually a thing about Jimbob's sleeveless shirt. So I thought, like, yeah, let's go. I mean, I have a little bit more to show than Jimbob, but okay. Kat, no. No, you filthy feline. No. Oh, my God. We have Zoomy already. Hello.
Hi.
Welcome.
Yeah, but at least you don't have fat shoulders like he did.
Ooh, no, I'm fucking sexy as hell. Stop, feline. I'll put you out in the street again, you fucking hobo.
Do you think that's maybe why you found it in the street?
Yes, I found him in the street.
But that's all I'll say. Maybe that's why you found him in the street.
Yeah, because he's he was fixed already when I got him. So probably, yeah, someone couldn't handle the violence of this terrorist cat.
Yeah.
Why you bite me? Why do you bite me and scratch me and do all of the things, you damn dirty cat? No, don't scratch. Damn you. I threw his... Hold on. Say stuff while I fix the cat. Welcome, Icy Spin. Hello.
Hey Max, how you doing, man? Hey Zoomy, what's going on? How are you?
Not much. So that debate, no debate. I didn't like either person. Like seriously.
I'm here for Issa. That's why I came.
Oh, okay.
Oh, really? That's funny.
Issa.
All right. All right. Looks like the worst
You got
is
a toy?
over.
You got the cat toy going?
I
There
got
you
the
go.
cat toy and I threw it.
You gotta get
Welcome.
that you gotta get that catnip, get a catnip toy where they just get really, really high and they just fall asleep on the floor.
Can you imagine?
Yeah.
I can't imagine this cat drugs. Dahi Draco said, "You're in need of a water spray bottle." I think that is very cruel. I've seen some people do that, and I'm not for that. I mean, he scratches me, I heal. I just look like I've been mauled by a tiger, but it's okay. What are we gonna do? No, it's an indoor cat. Cats that go outside get their life expectancy reduced by 80%. So no. And my neighborhood has a bunch of stray and loose dogs. So no freaking way. Okay. Before we dive right into this thing that happened today, make sure to do the social thing is like, share, subscribe, send this to a friend, send this to your significant other, go to the corner, yes, the corner of your street, and you subscribe to Yerba Talks. And that way we can share the love for the channel. All right. Mahleej versus Jimbob. Jimbob versus Mahleej. Opening statement. Mahleej started. And she started well, but I think she didn't round up the opening. I think she laid the framework of what things were like for women in the past, but she missed rounding up that circle and explaining the differences with today and why those are better. So I struggled with her opening a little bit. I was like, and when it was over, I was like, and give me the rest. So yeah, that those are my thoughts. Let's start with Issa.
I didn't have really any serious problem with her opening. I hear your complaint, Max, but I'm like, I think the standard point was women have been through a lot, and basically by inference, we need to have a better standard than this. I think that's like the assumption of what she was offering in her opening. But I mean, it wasn't like she said anything that was like, I felt it was pretty What's weird about this conversation is like, what she's saying is just kind of the standard of like the modern world. You know what I mean? It's like common sense. So it's like bizarre when we hear the opposition. We'll talk about that later. But I'm like, it was just like kind of standard normal stuff. Like, it's weird. Like when I hear flat Earth versus the globe, like, and I have to be honest, it's a little weird when I see you guys like getting so like active about flat Earth, like all the flat Earth. I'm like, okay, so these people are in like magical land, right? And I'm like, okay, then you have the normal position, and then you have like way off the coast position. That's kind of what these debates are, right? That's what I've been noticing.
Yep.
The standard and just kind of madness, So like I saw the other thing yesterday with Rusted Soul and that kind of. I'm like, okay, so people are into madness, and then there are people who have the standard perspective. I'm like, okay. But yeah, what she offered us was just a kind of standard normal perspective about life, and women have had some difficulty in life, and we need to kind of what she's proposing is basically because of that we need to have this space where women have rights, which doesn't seem bizarre or perplexing to me, but I guess I'm kind of a denizen of the standard modern world. So yeah.
All right, thank you so much. Zumi.
I would say it was a decent opener for her, but like Issa said, it was standard boilerplate stuff, and it started off as mediocre and just started going downhill really quick.
but let's we're talking about the openings right now.
I'm still talking about the opening, yeah.
Oh, okay.
But I'm talking about her opening just kept on going downhill. Like she just kept on prattling all about nothing essentially for the evening.
Okay, so you don't think it was a good opening?
Not really, no.
Okay,
Not,
fair,
no.
fair. I think it was just missing the just the
was-
polishing at the end, and
Yeah, if she had finished it all correctly, like you were saying, it would have been an awesome opener, but she just didn't go anywhere with it.
Okay, perfect. Got you now.
Yeah.
Icy Spin. Did you watch the debate, the openings?
I didn't catch it. I'm here just because Jim Bob generally is a dogmatic person that's very crafty. I sort of wanted to hear some of the ideas about his debate tactics and what they think about that, but I actually didn't catch the debate, so I'm not going to be good for that part, I guess. But
All right, no problem. Monkey.
Hey, yeah, I did. I missed the opening, but I caught most of it, so I can
Okay.
say that it
No
was definitely
problem.
interesting. I tuned in just to see what's going on, and I ended up staying for whatever the most I caught.
All right. So then Jimbob's opening. Well, he basically went on his script basically that he got from Andrew Wilson and some of the other derplings. The duties, birth rates, yada yada. Women cops are bad, and all of this nonsense, citing statistics that he never produces. This is just lazy. I don't know why people consider them that they're good debaters. They're just absolute trash. That's my thoughts. So, Isa.
So I think we need to do a deeper dive into this. I think you kind of hit a surface level of this, but we need a deeper dive into this. I think that, I think we have to talk about the religion because that's the core of why he makes the arguments of what he's saying. So his position is he believes in this kind of utopic ideal society. It's interesting how people critique Mamdani, who's running for mayor, for having utopic idealistic societies.
Yeah.
I'm like, a lot of these people have a utopic idealistic society that doesn't exist. What he's talking about doesn't exist. He's like, he deals in absolutes. So he goes into the space where it's like women need to be this way, men need to be this way, and I'm like, brother, you're in a myopic view of your own culture. You come from a culture of probably middle to lower class position of European ancestry in America, right? And you think that your worldview is the only thing that does exist, and that's problematic. And also your view of what you think your religion teaches you is not true either. It's like, it kind of feels like the Matrix, like when Neo comes out of the world of the Matrix and he's like, wow, everything that he thought was real was not real. I think that Jim Bob's in a Matrix. Like, he's in this Matrix where the world that he's around, he thinks is the real world. And it was interesting when I went to Debate Con 5, I saw a lot of the followers of Andrew Wilson, and I'm like, wow, these people are in their own world. Like the Crucible people, they're like in their own world. And I'm like, this is interesting. They don't really, like, I told them about my culture and what I do, and they're like, they never met someone like me. Like, I'm like, I work in DEI. And they're like, oh, huh? You're like, you're kind of a nice person. Why would you be in something like evil DEI, right? And I'm like, I don't come from a Christian background. I come from a multicultural background, which doesn't have Christianity in it. I come from, Sufi Islamic stuff and Jewish stuff. And, I have family that are atheists and agnostics. Like, I don't come from anything that these people's culture is. Like, I'm completely different than anything that these people have ever met in their life. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like someone like me, like engaging with someone like Jim Bob doesn't have any clue about people like me. I don't exist in his world. His world is this, there's a movie called Pleasantville. I don't know if you've seen it, with Tobey Maguire. And it's like this 50s kind of reality where everybody's of European ancestry. And they all are well dressed, and it's all black and white, right? Like, that's the world that they exist in. And I feel that that's how a lot of these people are. They're in like a Pleasantville reality. And I think that that's what I'm hearing from him is like, he's like, this is what men are supposed to do. Men need to protect. Men need to, support women. And I'm like, first of all, you grant that humanity is like very powerful. I mean, a lot of what we do is we use tools to survive. Women can use these tools also. You know what I mean? And kind of enhance their strength. If you think that man's brute strength is this amazing thing, women can get comparable strength to men by using tools. So it's like this idea is bizarre that you're creating these absolutes that aren't actually absolute. You're not granting all the other variables. You're just assuming this type of stuff, and you're like, well, this is what it is. And I'm like, there's so many other things outside of this myopic worldview. So it's like when I listen to him, I'm like, in this opening where he's telling us all this stuff, I'm like, what you're telling me, and this comes as a therapist, you're telling me about your kind of own trauma. You're telling me about your own kind of limited reality, And it's kind of tragic. Like, it's a very tragic thing that I see when I'm listening to him speak. And I'm like, I hate to say this, but I kind of pity him. I kind of pity where he comes. Like, I don't hate him. I pity him. I'm like, this person is really stuck in a box and really thinks that his box is like paradise. And it's tragic. It's like this person has never really stepped out of this type of worldview. He probably has never even been to another country before. That's what it kind of sounds like. It sounds like he's really kind of trapped in this reality. When I was listening to the opening, and I'm like, all of these things, they are true and real within his own reality. But outside, when he takes one step out of that box, none of it's real. None of it's true.
Right.
That's what
and where where all falls apart is that he's reducing men to like pure strength, and then reducing women to whatever he wants, like putting out babies, right? And that is such a myopic view of everything. It's kind of wild. But you mentioned the utopia, and it is usually leveraged as, oh, you have a utopic view. But my opinion is that even if you have a utopic view, what's the value in that? Is that at least it gives you a goal to walk towards. You might never reach the utopic state, but it at least you're moving, at least you're walking to improving. And no one can say that society isn't better now than 300 years ago or even 100 years ago. If you say that, like, people are extremely deluded. It's a really flat earther move. Zumi, thoughts on Jimbob's opening?
He pretty much even though he claimed later on that he's not a Christian nationalist. Sorry, I'm like stuttering, getting messed me tonight. But
No
yeah,
problem.
even though he claimed he's not a Christian nationalist, every single one of his points in his opener is a Christian nationalist point of view. So I mean, there's no way he can get away saying he's not a Christian nationalist.
Right.
There which is. But Issa pretty much covered everything I was going to say. Good going.
All right. All right. Thank you so much. Oh, we have my bro, CK. Hello. Robin says, I bet this was a really disturbing debate. Yeah. It touched on, of course, the sexism, a little bit of casual racism, Jimbob as usual. But yes, and I don't need a man to protect me. I know you don't need a man to protect you because you are a badass lady. Yeah, I mean, Robin was a trucker, and I've used that as an example. Like, there's some really badass ladies in the world that do everything men can do, and I know no less than 10 women that could literally just beat up Jimbob for being this stupid. No less than 10. I swear to God.
Maybe he should try to what Right the Hand did.
Yes.
If
all right. Oh,
y'all don't know what Right Hand did. He challenged a female boxer to a fight to prove that men are stronger than any woman, and he got his ass handed to him.
He got his ass beat. Yeah.
I wanted
Yeah.
to engage one thing that you said, Max. I think it's really bizarre because you're dealing in absolutes. You're like, well, men are just stronger than women. And I'm like, there's lots of dependencies on these types of situations. It depends on, genetics and training and all of this type of stuff. And you're just making an assumption. A lot of men are lazy. You think a lot of men are doing training? Like, you think like that the man is just going to be inherently strong? Like, they have this weird thing. Like, there's this movie called Lady Ballers, and it's really kind of stupid and dumb. It's like this conservative film where it's like these guys, because they're not really trans women, but there are these guys who are, because it's an attack on trans women. That's what the premise is that all trans women are just basically men in drag. Like, that's the argument of the film. So they pretend to be women so that they can defeat women in sports. That's the premise of this movie, Lady Ballers, right? And some of them have beards, all of that, right? And it doesn't matter what sport. All the women who may be trained, the men can just beat them in everything. Like, overweight men who have never trained before can beat women in every sport. And I'm like, this is stupid. It's dumb, and it's not true. It's just not a true statement. And it's like, it's the kind of world that they live in. And I'm like, the biggest thing that I want to engage in this is it's not Christianity. And well, whatever this word Christianity is, Jesus is teaching, let's say that. This has nothing to do, like, it's so weird. This thing called Christianity, it has nothing to do with Jesus. Like, whatever people feel about Jesus, I know most of the audience here are atheists, but it has nothing to do with this guy. Jesus doesn't care about family. He doesn't care about sports. He doesn't care about making money. He doesn't care about having a job, living in society, being a good denizen of society. So I'm like, JimBob, your whole thing collapses because the premise that you're putting it on is on Christianity and Jesus, right? Jesus doesn't care about this. And then they lie. These people will lie and say, well, Jesus said, render unto Caesar what is for Caesar and render unto God what is for God. What does that mean? It's a mystical teaching. It's kind of clear what he's saying. He's basically saying, you live in the world, but you're not of the world. You go and you give these people their money, but it's not like I'm going to become a citizen, a denizen of society. And we can prove that through the text because these protagonists didn't live a normal life. These people didn't go and have a job and sit down and raise families. That's not what the heroes of this text did. None of them did. And I'm including Paul of Tarsus. I'm including all the apostles and Christ. None of them did. And it's funny, like, I'm the only person talking like this. I never see Andrew Wilson talking like me. And I'm like, dude, you're from this community. Do you not understand these things? Do you not understand the text? Or they don't.
They 100% don't. If you bring up the Bible with Andrew Wilson, he will run away. He will run away so fast.
Yep.
So fast.
That's the problem that I see with like modern like apologetics is that it's more just a popularity contest in most cases. It has nothing to do with the actual word of the Bible, because they know that a lot of things that they bring up can easily be contradicted if they put forth an idea. In most cases, like I've seen JimBob. He'll really try to be on the offensive a lot and not really. He doesn't want to take the defensive. I can imagine it was different tonight, but that's generally the path that I see. They really don't want to defend their position.
And it lines with Flat Earth as well. They do the same damn thing.
Now the thing with it's always the same talking point, birth rates. And today, for some reason, it's how he kept citing statistics of women officers that they are more likely to get their guns taken. Like, where did you get that from? Like, show me the statistics. You're lying. You are flat out lying.
I don't know where he got that from. Like, on my side time, like, besides watching Flat Earth Derp, I love watching body cam footage. And I don't know where he got that from because it's completely wrong. It's completely wrong.
And in any case, I mean, those things can be solved with better training, with better equipment, with better matching teammates, or having, police officer women taking care of other tasks that are more suited to them. If let's say if it's true for a moment, let's say what the derp that he said is true, you can assign them to domestic disputes, because women, for example, there is one statistic, and I can probably pull it up in a couple of seconds, that women are way better at de-escalating situations than
Yes.
men.
100%. 100%. Yes.
And
Yep.
sometimes that's exactly what you need, a de-escalation.
Yep.
Nobody
If you have-
needs to kill anybody if they can avoid it, right? So yeah,
Right?
you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
I
But
one
no,
thing
they
that-
don't think in this term. Sorry, Isa, go.
No, you're good. I mean, the one thing that I know we haven't gone into like open discussion and stuff, but the one thing that really, I think it really bothered me a lot, and I think this moves into the future, is the question and answer portion. I'm like, these people who are posting messages, like they're really sick. Like
Yes.
Oh
they are.
my,
they're
yeah.
sick. Like we're
Yes.
not talking about normal, healthy people. We're talking about some really sick, twisted people. It's like weird because maybe I'm in an echo chamber. I'm like, the people I'm around would never speak like this. Like it's maybe people are more sick when they're anonymous and you can't see their face, you don't know their name, so they're able to just say whatever. That's why I always show my name, because I'm like, I want to be accountable for what I say. So
Oh yeah.
I'm very much straight about that. You see my face, you know what my name is. I will own what I say. I'm not one of these people who will hide, say horrible, vile, evil things on the internet, and then pretend on my normal day-to-day life that I'm like a good person. There's a movie called Manhunter. I recommend you see it. It's the first of the like Hannibal Lecter series. Like it's from the 80s, but it's really interesting because you see the villain, and the villain kind of lives a normal life, but the person is like this horrible guy who kills a bunch of people, right? But he kind of lives a day-to-day life, but he doesn't showcase that vile side of all the time. So he hides that kind of thing, and I feel that's how these people are too. It's like these people are actually really kind of sick and vile within, and then when they have the chance to reveal it, they do. And I'm like, they like people like Jimbob because they can expose their kind of vile thoughts online.
I mean, he was calling her like a witch and all of this other stuff, and he did it with her. He did it with her the same thing he did with me, like mocking the accent. And there is another thing that also happened. I'll do it now because I have it ready. A lot of people were getting me super annoyed with Jimbob's voice and Mahleej's voice. And because I had the suspicion that their voices are not that different, just based on my ear. So what I did was I fucking checked. So here we go. Share screen. Boom, boom, boom. Okay. I recorded a little clip of both speaking, and I put it here on my trusted Ableton. So this is Mahleej.
We're not getting audio.
We're not getting audio, yeah.
Not getting audio? Oh, shoot. Hold on 1 second.
Not on StreamYard.
Boom, boom. Yeah, that was, I forgot the checkbox. There we go. That should do it. Okay. So.
No, probably not. But cops have.
All right, so that's Mahleej, and this is the fundamental of her voice. That is G3 in the scale, 396 hertz. And now we, oh, sorry. Where? There we go. Now, here we have Jimbob.
Backed with force. Do you have an example of one law that...
And Jimbob's voice, the fundamental is D3. So D3 sharp, F sharp, G3. Their voice is 5 semitones apart. So the people that were complaining about her voice or my voice regarding Jimbob, Like it's nonsense. Like they're 5 semitones apart. Most people cannot tell the difference. That their voice is in the same fucking scale. So to everyone that complained, you're fucking wrong, and you're an idiot and an asshole.
And it doesn't matter.
There
Oh,
you go.
stop sharing.
Science.
Yeah, you get that double audio.
I did get
Science,
that.
bitches.
Science,
Yeah.
bitches. Yeah.
And look at my
Okay.
voice; it's probably the same. Doesn't.
Yeah, we
fucking-
need
Sorry,
to have
I-
Gregory in on
I
the
needed to
discussion.
take that off my chest because I was so triggered with the dummies just bringing up her voice. Like, motherfuckers.
I saw no problem with any of their voices.
Jimbo
genetics
doesn't
of it.
have like he doesn't speak like this. No way. He like.
You know,
And this other one thing, and then I'll shut up. They kept calling her a witch, drunk, or complaining about her voice in chat. Yes, and Jimbo was calling her drunk while he was drunk and drinking more beer. Like these people make no fucking sense. All right,
They both got so drunk at the end.
I'm surprised that JimBob, he's brought the clan over to maybe it was the old channel, but I know that he's brought him and all of his followers in and just absolutely gone bonkers in chat before as a clearly not drunk individual, like
Yeah.
after a debate, right?
Those people are insane, though. God.
Oh god.
Yeah.
Yeah, JimBob, he's just a conservative guy with conservative ideas, and he just wants to win. I think that's what the apologetics way is, to try and construct arguments that can like allow atheists or whatever the topic is to just not progress to something that's not what he would call biblical, I guess. So I don't know.
Yeah. Azumi, thoughts on the open discussion?
Well, it was going fine until she eventually basically let it be known that she's a TERF, transitionary radical feminist, because she said some pretty vile things about trans women. I kind of
I did catch that, and I was like, oh, okay. And then I was like, oh, whoa, no. But
exactly.
let's put that aside for now. I feel you. I feel you because I saw it. I actually heard it. But I think she I want to think that she misspoke because it started like she looked like she was supporting trans people, but then kind of undid it with some stuff.
Yeah, later on, yeah.
Yeah.
She went back to it. She went back to it again and started talking some trans phobic shit. But yeah, I kind of lost faith in her in that way because she was doing really good up to that point.
David says Catherine is just stupid. Catherine is no more. We put it to a vote on the Foundry, and people voted with their wallets to ban her. So democracy wins.
Wait, you didn't send their fluids to the Foundry?
Yes, we sent our fluids to the Foundry, and we voted to remove Catherine from the island.
Yep. And fluids, by the way, they undergo this thing called vaporization. So over time, they undergo this atmospheric constraints where they disappear, and so we constantly need to replenish the fluids.
Oh, yeah.
So if the fluids aren't there, even if you've sent your fluids before, more fluids is better, right? We don't have a cryogenic chamber. We're not storing them, underground, none of that. So just keep that in mind.
Let me welcome Jack. Hello, Jack. How are you?
I'm great. How you guys doing?
I'm
What's up,
doing
Jack?
fantastic. Jack, you're married, right?
I was married for 17 years. I am not married now.
Okay, let me ask you this. If you as a married person, because I don't think the rest of us, no one is married. As a married person, if you went to your wife and told her that you thought she didn't deserve the right to vote, what would have happened?
Oh, Jesus. Yeah, I mean, I probably would have packed her bags and said sayonara.
And also,
Or wait, the other way around. She would have packed your bags, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, either way. But the reason I connected is because I missed the debate, and I'm almost sorry I did, because I was trying to figure out what the argument against feminism would be. Because if you boil it down, isn't feminism really about equal rights? So you're really arguing
Yes.
against equal rights?
Yes.
yes.
Right.
He,
Yep.
Jimbo,
Fundamentally, he
I'll sum
disagrees
it
with
up.
equal.
I'll sum it up for you. Jimbo thinks that women's duty to society and to God is to have children, and that they shouldn't be allowed to vote because they are more emotional than men, and that getting women into the workforce has been a net negative for society because he thinks that women working dilutes the profits for everyone else, like completely disconnected from reality.
Yeah, it's like
You know-
subservience is superior.
He makes a good Ferengi.
It sounds like a gripe session that men would have against women not fulfilling their needs more than against equal rights. The one thing you could say though, if you were to raise a young boy and girl child exactly the same, and remove the influences in society that they would have that make girls girls and boys boys, would you end up with two equally ignorant and compassionless people in some cases? Like I can see the fear being that women are softer, more compassionate, they balance out men in good ways, right? I can see that, men being afraid that they might not find that, but then to deny equal rights is just, it's absurd.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
but that's what the debate was, just
Well, how's that going
absurdism.
for him? Does he have a wife and a
Yeah,
subservient,
he's married and has 3 kids, and probably did manage to get a wife that is like that
They
comports to
exist.
what he wants.
Traditional
Yeah.
values, some of them call it, right?
and he sees his daughter as being basically a baby machine for her future, dominant male husband?
Probably, yes.
Presumably,
Probably.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
kind
he
of
does
sad.
say that women's role in society is to make babies.
Yeah.
And they don't value things like higher education. It's actually
Right.
it's
Yeah.
not a good thing.
He actually said, and I quote, "They sold you this idea that going to college was this great thing." Jimbo is proud to be uneducated. Oh, and let me remind everyone, Jimbo is also, on top of being a sexist pig, a moon landing denier who's also a flat earther.
Oh,
Just
that sucks.
FYI.
Why
Yeah.
am I not surprised?
Triple threat.
Triple
The funny
threat.
thing
Yeah,
is-
all the dumb.
He's got away with his words, right? The reason that Jim Bob is, I don't know how many subs he has. I would assume he has, 9 or 10,000 followers. I have no idea.
I'll tell you in
But
just a second.
he does have influence. He talks with the rhetoric, sort of like a Kent Hovind, sort of like I can't think of anyone else that comes to mind. But he does know how to talk that sounds convincing, right? He uses his words in the right way. Okay, more than I thought.
27,000.
So an MC Toon has 27,000. So
Yeah,
he's got some influence. He's making waves, as it were, in his community, I guess.
well,
But-
yeah, all on the back of Andrew Wilson, right? It's just a
Sure.
circle of Runner says, is he a flat? He was always a flat earther. On the previous channel, the one that we no longer speak about, Voldemort was challenging Jimbob to a flat earth debate. Jimbob is a flat earther. The problem is that he's so embarrassed to be that dumb that if you ask him, and I've asked him, he's been in the chat a couple of times on the previous, and I asked him, what is the shape of the earth? And he said round, because he's such a snake that he wouldn't commit. And I told her, no, answer the question, flat or globe? Round, he said. He's
Round like
okay.
a tire. Round like a
Motherfucker.
tire.
like Mikey Smith.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Run
did
like a
anybody ask
tire!
him? Did anybody ask him if he if he tries to determine how his wife votes or tries to prevent her from voting or exercising her rights.
No,
Yeah, but I mean,
it's probably understood, right? We're an X household. You are to vote
Yeah.
X.
well, I
If you're
mean, I guess if you're a woman and you're fine with that, but my whole thing is, you know, I mean, he's sort of going to raise a daughter that he then thinks is less than.
yeah.
That's kind of sad if you
Yep.
think about it, right?
Yeah,
hmm
yeah.
I
Just a
don't
little
know how in today's world. I mean, we wouldn't have the internet without women, and there are so many things. I remember there was someone that on a debate pulled up a list of integral inventions to modern society that were made by women. And he was like, oh, yeah, but those are the exceptions. Yeah, motherfucker. But if a woman didn't invent the TCP/IP protocol, you wouldn't be derping out on the internet right now. So, yeah, the exception that made something that is indispensable to modern life. Like, look at the shit that happened on Monday with the Amazon shortages. The whole world
God.
didn't come to a stop, but almost nothing worked, right? So
Yeah.
don't tell me that, oh yeah, it's just a fluke that a woman invented the TCP/IP protocol. Like,
Yeah, they
bullshit.
assume 0 women have ever been in any of technology, any engineering. Like that's just the assumption that they don't contribute, or that they maybe had an idea that another like a male counterpart was better like suited for or something,
And where would they
just
be
took it.
now if they weren't repressed until the 60s?
And
But you
then
can make
there
the
was-
That's a
argument
good
that
point.
men have
Open discussion.
really.
and
You
there,
can make the argument that men have really not quite done so great with the world. I mean, historically, men, you know, it's a big penis size, and it turns into a war, and it turns into, you know, I kind of once in just talking to somebody was saying that we'd be probably better off if we just took um, a lot of wives that had families from the Midwest that have to balance checkbooks and know
Yep.
how to, you know, raise a family and balance, you know, needs, and put them in charge of the government, because there'd be a lot more compassion. It would be a lot more fair. It wouldn't be, you could make the argument that it wouldn't be what it is today. We might be better off having women run everything.
In fact,
and also,
well,
Wait a
also
second. Do we want to move on to the open discussion?
Yeah, that's what we're doing now.
Okay.
get us there, Issa.
Do you want to
And if
go?
it
Go
weren't-
ahead, Isa.
All right, cool. Because I thought we were going to do that and then go to the question and answer and then the closing stuff. So what I would say, simply put, for the open discussion, just in general, was there was a lot of rhetoric that Jim Bob used that it's just like it was very demeaning. He used a lot of demeaning rhetoric where he's like, women need to do this. It's just the kind of establishment of that. And it was like, there was interesting barbed exchange. I think Mahleej kind of took the position. She really she did a lot of smirking. She did a lot of that smirking and kind of, there was a lot of facial expressions. It's something I do too. When I hear a lot of wild stuff, I make a lot of expressions with my face too. So I think that was interesting to see in the kind of discussion. One of the interesting things that came up, I'm not sure if that was in the question and answers, but it was about abortion, and it was an interesting kind of engagement because it sort of was supposed to be a gotcha. It's like, hey, your philosophy leads to death of children, and I thought that was kind of an interesting. It's a sort of it's an implanted type of tactic to get, folks to go against her, and he knew exactly what answer she would give, so he kind of planted that question. I think that was something that needed to be kind of thought about too. There's these certain tactics that are used to kind of evoke certain emotions in the audience. So that's what I thought was kind of.
The other thing is the babies. Oh, and OnlyFans is bad. And Jimbo doesn't understand. Oh, fuck. He made a comparison between pimps and OnlyFans. And he's like,
Yes.
no, it's not. They're not comparable, because pimps would beat up the ladies and so on, and OnlyFans, the only thing they do is facilitate the platform and take a little percentage, the same thing that YouTube does. So it's not in any way like OnlyFans is not pimping, and it actually is a net benefit because of the problems with the porn industry, right? And that has been progress, but they're so blind or dumb or both that they don't understand that the fact that people want to do OnlyFans and now they can do porn in a safe manner with their couple, like this what's her name?
Are we assuming that OnlyFans, they don't have like Andrew Tate type people? Like, are we talking about like freelance OnlyFans?
Well, I mean,
women?
they do. That is a problem, yes. Like Andrew Tate doing the same thing the porn industry used to do on OnlyFans, that is bad. But we can agree on that. But in general, if you are a person on OnlyFans, handling your own business, pretty much the same thing that we do here. I go live whenever I want. I do whatever I want. I say whatever I want, yada, yada. Now, instead of that, I'm doing porn on my own terms with my equipment, with no one else. Then that is progress between that and the porn industry.
Yeah,
right.
OnlyFans isn't just porn though. That's another thing.
Oh, correct. I know that a few years ago there was even a woman that an old lady. She was like 70 something. She was like one of the top OnlyFans. She used to teach knitting.
Yeah.
I would challenge though, like,
go ahead,
Max. Excuse me.
No.
I would challenge, like, do we know to a high degree of certainty that OnlyFans is a freelance business? Like, I haven't delved into it. It is. There's not
the
OnlyFans rings sort of thing.
No, what you said. There are people like Andrew Tate that sully it for the rest, but. That's not a fault of the platform. We should combat that on the outside. I would say that the platform itself is a net positive for people in general.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a safe place for people to go who want to do, like what you're doing, Max. You're just not getting naked. And it's a safe place for people to go. And I want to say JimBob said at one point, doing OnlyFans is like abusing your own body, which I didn't understand. What he meant by that. If I heard him correctly, I was paying attention. I was like, no.
That gets into his whole view of he assigns value to women depending on virginity. If you're not a virgin woman, then you have no value. And it's like,
that's so fucked up.
Look, JimBob, let's do this. Go to Mahleej's Instagram. And if you don't get a hard-on, then you win. If you get a hard-on, then I win. Because like he was saying that she has no value. Like, she's fucking hot. Like, for a little while, for a little while she got she let herself loose and developed a little bit of a tummy. But now she's exercising and so on. And I went through her Instagram because I was trying to get like an interview or her coming to a previous Aftershow. And I was checking her Instagram out. And now she's like, dude, she's freaking hot. I don't know what to tell you. But it seems that after 35, in JimBob's mind, women have no value. Sorry,
just be glad she's not a redhead, because Max would also lost your shit off that.
Zach, you have thoughts?
Can I ask a question?
I do kind of like both extremes. I do like the Mediterranean kind of like what do you call it? Appearance, right? And also redheads. I don't. It's all good.
A nice happy medium in between.
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah. So if this were central casting, Billy Bob, quote unquote, or JimBob, or whatever his name is, being a sexist, repressive, kind of male pig, flat earther / whatever, could you not find anybody else to fulfill this, to take the side? Or was this really, because I don't know many people, I don't know many males that I know that would argue against feminism. So was it hard to find someone who believed that?
From what they said,
No,
from what they
That's
They
said,
have a
classically
lot.
Jim Bob. Yeah.
Yeah, they have a
Yeah.
lot. That group, the Wilsons, like Rachel Wilson will argue the same shit that these guys argue. And it's like, Rachel, if you had your way, you wouldn't be allowed to derp out in public. You stupid bitch.
Yeah, you wouldn't have a
They-
voice, you dumb bitch.
They truly believe in the hierarchy of like men and women, and
Yeah.
they're subservient to men, and the
So
men
is this
are
a
the
religious thing though?
breadwinners.
Is it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Very much
very
so.
much so. Yeah. And from what I heard, it was.
Pablo for 750 Uruguayan pesos says Max is not getting naked yet.
Yeah.
I
The
mean,
wife beater's hanging on.
I got asked on FTFE stream yesterday if I would get naked if we reach a super chat goal, and I said it costs a little bit more than that.
I'll give you 100 dongs to keep your clothes on.
$100 like 10 cents.
It's $3.63. All right, bro.
Yeah.
Listen, I'll give you 200,000.
I Killed Earl says, I'll be 40 next year. I've got a banging body, and Dimbob would be lucky to see. Not that I would grant him the privilege, mind you. I can attest that, Earl has everything in its place. Don't ask me how I know, but I trust you a little bit.
From what both of them said, it was a spur of the moment kind of debate where they were pretty much the last people they picked. So yeah.
And they're doing the rounds. They're preparing the rounds for debate, and so on. But it will be like they have Andrew Wilson, Rattlesnake, Jim Bob, and like you could just have one of them do all of the debates. They all say the same thing.
Yeah.
Have you seen what happened to what's her face on behalf of Andrew Wilson, or was that a deeper issue? I don't know if that's something you wanted to jump into.
Sarah, Raging Tomato.
Yeah, Raging Tomato. Is that a topic that's?
You know what? Let me make a note, and we'll double back to that at the end, because there is some shenanigans going on. I'll just say that. David, that is true. She showed us a booty pic for your birthday. We know, Max. Yes, that is. I forgot that. I forgot that I sent that. I showed that publicly. But yeah, and look, I'm in a stage in my life that I actually look for 45 plus because it's. I mean,
we call them gilfs.
Gilfs, yes, gilfs, but. Like they're liberated. They got out of. They escaped the clutches of their husband, and now they kind of dig. Like I'm 37, so and they're the best ever. And
plus, they're already trained, and you don't have to worry about getting them used to it.
Right, and they don't want you to stay over. It's like business, and then Uber, and I get out of here, and they're cool with that. That is fine. They don't need you to cuddle them and caress their hair and tell them how beautiful they are. It's like it's perfect.
Yeah.
So the topic of the body count came. And maybe it's because I'm a filthy degenerate, but to me, a woman with a body count tells me she has a lot of practice. And you know what they say, practice makes perfect. So I don't know what the appeal is of this idea of virginity. Being the first time that you have sex sucks, almost invariably. So
it's about male insecurity. It's really about male insecurity.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I saw a comment earlier in the stream, and I wish I would have screenshotted it, but I was busy at the time. But it said, some dude said, I would rather date somebody who's like 20 years old working at McDonald's than a 40-year-old who's rich as fuck. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, what?
Dumbasses.
Like,
So he doesn't want a sugar mommy?
Right.
What? I mean, she can maybe take you shopping, and then also she grabs you in bed and she leaves you speaking Aramaic. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Exactly.
So what was Mahleej? Did she have a high body count? Is that why the topic even came up, or was it
No,
just...
no, she's not like a normal person. But the problem is that she's a single mom. She's not married and so on. So, like, Jimbob thinks that that's the only way that you have value is if you're married and you have children. But
Yep.
like she says, she owns her house, owns her car. She has an OnlyFans, but she teaches Islam in OnlyFans, right?
Hmm.
So
Okay.
she doesn't get naked like at all.
Okay.
And it throws them. It's like Isa was saying. Isa doesn't fit in these people's little box, so it throws them for a loop. And Mahleej, that's the same thing. And she was queen or like she was first in a beauty pageant back in Pakistan, and that
nice.
also throws them for a loop.
So presumably she does well in OnlyFans in this little segment, right? Like,
Yeah.
as a hot teacher, sort of.
Yeah.
No, I don't know a hot teacher. No, she just teaches Islam because
I
don't know
didn't mean
why.
it like in the pure sense of the word. I just meant like she does well in her segment as someone that's educational
Oh, yeah,
because
got it,
she's good looking and like
I'm
because
curious.
if I'm talking about OnlyFans, yeah, I'm not thinking. I know that they tried to make the switch and then like immediately realized it was like a bad idea and switched back.
Yes.
But like she might have been in the mix like at that moment in time. I don't know, but yeah, that's news to me. That's actually a way that people can use the platform that's not nudity or pornographic or whatever.
Yeah, it doesn't have
I'm
to.
curious though. Speaking of promiscuity, did he give his viewpoint on? Does he feel he should be able to sow his oats whenever he wants, up until marriage or whatever?
I'm sorry, repeat that?
Well, regarding promiscuity, so if he thinks women, he wants a virgin, does he think he, on the other hand, should be able to do whatever he wants and body count doesn't
Yes.
matter?
You have to be
Yeah.
consistent.
So given the fact that women make up roughly 51% of the population, how does that work if all the women are virgins?
It doesn't.
It doesn't.
But
And he,
yeah, she caught him on that.
oh,
We got frozen Max.
metaphor. Oh,
There you are.
There you
Okay.
go. He's back.
We got you. We got you.
she caught him in that contradiction that, okay, she pointed out the social thing of men are seen as players when they are with many women and women are seen as prostitutes. And he didn't really have a problem with that. And he's like, no, but it's different. It's like, no, it's not different. It's not different in the slightest.
no, he
It's
also
the same
said,
thing.
if I'm wrong, again, correct me, but he said something about like, well, once you're 40, you're done. Like, there's nothing left for you. I was like, what the hell are you talking about?
You might be
I'm
talking about
Like-
the women's ability to reproduce, sort of thing.
Yeah.
No,
but,
no. Yeah, he mentioned the reproduction capability, but he kind of said like, oh, a woman over 45, ew, like this. Like,
Yeah, I was-
absolutely ridiculous.
Which leads to the point. What does this have to do with Christianity? Like,
nothing.
Christian has they
Nothing
don't-
at all.
the text of the New Testament. See, what they like to do is they like to cherry pick. So they try to go to the Tanakh, which says be fruitful and multiply. But there's a key problem. Jimbob is not an Israelite, so it's not talking to him. The Tanakh is a text talking to the Israelite people. So that's something that people have to realize. These Hebrew scriptures are not talking to everyone. It's for Israelites by Israelites. It's very clear that the text is not an open text to non-Israelite people. So it's really bizarre when I see all these people of European ancestry who are like, I'm going to quote the Torah. I'm like, it's not a text about you. It's not a text talking to you. So why do you think it has relevance to you? The point of why the Torah is important for the Christian is that the Torah brings about the revelation of Christ. That's why the Torah is important. It's the kind of the background of saying this is the necessity and the need for Christ. So it's really wild when I keep hearing these people quote this text, and the text isn't even promoting what they're thinking it promotes. The text has no interest in family values. The text has no interest in, like reproducing. Nothing. There's none of that stuff is there. So it's so bizarre, and I have to keep repeating this because I'm like, when I keep hearing these arguments, I'm like, these are nonsense arguments. I'm like, I wish they put me in a debate against someone like this. I would be like, you're in trouble, buddy. You're in trouble, buddy, because I'm like, you're not equipped. See, it's like, those movies where you have like the Maverick that goes against like, the standard kind of character. I'm the Maverick type person. I'm not going to play the rules of these people. And it's interesting because Mahleej sort of plays the rules with him. I'm like, if you go and you actually go against the whole thing and you deconstruct his worldview, the whole thing collapses.
Oh, yeah.
Because he doesn't have any armament against the kind of arguments I'm making. She's like, well, I'm kind of defending my position. I'm like, and she's like, yeah, I think, you talk about incest, look at the text. I'm like, yeah, you could make that argument, but you can go deeper. You could say, look, this text doesn't even support your worldview. So your worldview is just a fabrication. It's not even based on your religious narrative. I think that's a far more powerful argument than the argument she was making. You know what I mean? And I think, but the problem is you have to be equipped to deal with that type of argument. But his argument, it's really weak because it's not based on anything. It's just based on his opinions. It's not based on any kind of textual or even religious or spiritual narrative. And I think that needs to be exposed. And it's not. It's never exposed by the atheists. And I'm like,
they never want to talk about that. They will run away from the claims of the Bible and their religious claims all the time.
Yeah.
But the skeptic and the atheist in most of these debates, I don't see them going in that direction. And I'm like really surprised. Maybe they just don't have the equipment to deal with this or know about it or have the courage to engage in it. There's multiple routes of why this might not be happening. But I'm like, that's such a stronger position than what you're bringing. If you deconstruct, because that's what he does. He's saying, look at your feminism. It's not based on anything real. It's not based in reality. It's a nonsense position, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm like, you counter and say, look, your so-called Christian position isn't even Christian. It's got nothing to do with Jesus. You just made it up. It's maybe something from your culture and your heritage that you are, basically trying to superimpose onto this spirituality. But it's not the spirituality; it's your superimposition.
So did he make it up though? The Bible's not exactly a book that's pro women. It's like they're basically cattle, right? I mean,
well, first of all, there's two. We're talking about two narratives. The Hebrew Scriptures is a text about Israelites, so it really doesn't matter. It's not a text that non-Israelites can even engage with because it's not talking to them. It's an ancient history about Israelite people. So it's like, okay, fine. The point is the Christian's goal is the New Testament. The New Testament does not necessarily have that position. The New Testament's position, if you're going to say there's misogyny, it would be more with the Pauline text. You would have to make the argument through Pauline texts. Through the traditional Gospels, these it's not very important. Really, what the focuses we see in the New Testament are these things about anti-hypocrisy. That's the kind of position. Men and women, this kind of gendered element, you might see some slight things that you might find somewhat problematic for the modern age, but it's not that narrative that you're talking about is something you would find in the Hebrew Scriptures, which is from thousands of years ago. The problem is we kind of what do? We kind of conflate both of these narratives. We conflate the Hebrew Scriptures and the New Testament, the Gospels, and they're not the same thing. They have very different kind of positionings and arguments that they're making. Yeah. So, that's important to grant,
Mm-hmm. Before we go on, I was showing this, but I didn't get, Isa was speaking, so I didn't want to interrupt. This is Jamie Foxx. She is, Jamie Lee Curtis. She's 66 years old. And if you don't think she's hot, you might be gay. Just putting it out there.
I mean, that's a guilt.
Look at that silver fox. Like, sorry, I'll tone it down. But yes,
she's the star from Halloween. If people
and she's sold natural. She's like no surgery. She has wrinkles, but she's still hot as balls. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah, if
Jennifer
you're-
Aniston still looks 29 and a half years old. I'm
Yeah.
not gonna lie. I haven't seen her recently, but in like, was it what was the movie with Charlie from It's Always Sunny? like the
Yeah.
where she was the dentist. I'm like, oh my god, dude, she's
Something
so
Boston.
fucking hot. She looks like she's still in Friends right now.
No, see,
Yeah.
when I think of Jamie Lee Curtis, I think of True Lies and that striptease that she does.
Yeah, right.
Yes.
Right
Yes,
there.
but I mean, if you ask me, she's hotter now than before.
I think so. Okay.
But that's just my personal preference. But this idea that, oh yeah, women after a certain age stop being hot, like no.
Yeah,
Still be
Sometimes
hot.
you got to grow into it. You got to grow.
I'm
into
not
it.
sure sexualizing them though makes this.
Sorry, no.
I'm just
Oh,
saying
yeah.
that
No, but I'm sorry. The problem is that they in Jimbob's head,
Quiet,
if you're a single woman after 45, there's nothing for you in the world, and
Yeah, you're fruitless.
that is not the case. Like single women after 60, in some of the happiness and so on statistics, they are the ones that are happier. They are the ones that have more sex. They have more time. They have better jobs and so on. Like they contradict reality every step of the way.
So you mean he wouldn't even grant them as a backup for if something were to happen to his own wife after menopause? Like he doesn't need someone to cook his TV dinners and keep the house clean? I mean,
No.
surely there must be some use in the backup role.
I don't know what his idea would be regarding that, but in his head, his wife shouldn't be able to divorce him. And you mentioned before that it stems from a lot of insecurity, and I think so too. I think that they find strong women and a woman that doesn't have to stay with him, but has to choose to stay with him. It forces him to work more, and that's where the insecurities pop up. That is my reading of that situation.
In a world where he has to attract a mate based on anything other than obligation of a female or them thinking they're obligated to, well, I got to hitch up with somebody, so I might as well be you. I mean, it requires more work. It requires him learning to communicate and treating women with the same respect that he would treat anybody else. It's foreign to him. Now, whether he was raised that way or whether he just likes it because it's a safe space for him, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, he's an incel.
Yeah, there is a
Do I
lot
need to
of
say anything else?
there is a lot of insecurity there. I think that is and I see that everywhere, where these people that think that they're strong men, but they want a woman that has no capability of leaving them. That really screams insecurity to me, in my uninformed opinion, in like my completely uninformed opinion on like psychology and so on, right? But
but you have a pretty good idea of how it works, right? Like of how the male female dynamic works. I mean, it's not super complicated, but it's sort of overcomplicated by things like the hierarchy structure that I think Jimbob and his types try to pursue. And I think, like you said, stems back to, hey, if we can actually find people and instantiate this hierarchy, like, and find people that believe in it, like, it's a lot easier to kind of sort of do whatever we want, right? Like, and not really have a sense of responsibility or leave it separate and keep everything private, or certain matters, I guess, within the marriage private. And
there may be women that are okay with that type of relationship.
There
and that's
absolutely
fine.
are.
I mean, it's
right. But feminism, what feminism does is, if you want to be a conservative woman that stays at home and cooks and tends to the house and the children and your husband, feminism says, like, go for it. If that is the life for you that you chose and no one is imposing it on you, then have at it. That's what they don't get. What they want is, oh, we think that this is the ideal form of life for a woman and we want to impose it on everyone. Feminism wants the opposite. It's like, do you want to be a house, what do you call it, a housewife? Fine. Do you want to be a breadwinner and have a husband who is a stay-at-home dad? Fine.
Fine.
Do you want to be a lesbian? Awesome. Do you want to be trans? Fine. Like,
These are all
of these
unacceptable.
I do want to be a lesbian.
In the eyes of Jimbob, is what I'm saying. like,
things.
no, it's very traditional. Women know their role. Men win the bread. Women don't ask questions. Simple as that. Like, there's a very, very, very sharp line in the sand about how things operate. I think, according to Jimbob,
I heard that women
ideology
couldn't
that he
even get
preaches.
checking accounts and credit cards in their name in the 60s.
No, you're right. Yeah, that was a right that was conquered. And then Jimbo was lying a lot about before the suffrage movement. He lied and said that women didn't vote and yada yada. It's like, well, when you're in a period that the man can actually decide if the woman can go outside the house or not, do you find it strange that even when there was a vote, that women didn't go out to vote? Like, try to hold one of those votes now and see how that goes, right? No, but all of that is like, I don't know if you know this. Rachel Wilson wrote a book on feminism, in which the key argument, confirmed by 3 people to me, is that feminism was a witch movement that ended up making things worse for all women. That's her argument.
Yeah.
Feminism was a bunch of witches that made everything worse for all women, while she's enjoying the rights that those fucking witches conquered, so that she can actually do history revision and their pout in public. And the cherry on top is that Rachel Wilson admitted on a debate on MTV that every single gender study expert in the world would disagree with her. Another flat earther move.
Is she even allowed to write such a book and even put out a book about feminism? Like, that's a male right?
Yeah.
Like,
I actually wanted to
she
bring
shouldn't
up
be
something
speaking on that.
So, one thing that's actually a part of the standard of the man is this element of stoicism, which is actually promoted by the New Testament. Kind of like this idea of, and it's like the idea that a lot of meninists will get into, like in film, that men are supposed to be controlling of their emotions. They're supposed to be, not quick to anger or quick to, emotional outbursts, right? Because that's tied to being a woman. It was interesting to see that Jimbob is the opposite of that. He hits the standard of what he would probably demonize as a woman, hyper emotional. He was cursing. He was hyper emotional. He had really no control of his own abilities. And I was really surprised that all the men were cheering for that, because I'm like, this is sort of the opposite of the ideal man. A man who gives into their emotional outbursts is not the standard of the ideal man, according to your narrative, brother. So I'm just like, that was very curious to me that he was like that, he behaves that way, and that men like that behave that same way, these extreme emotional outbursts.
When you say all the men were cheering, are you speaking of all the virgins living in mommy's basement?
You're silly. Yeah, I mean, you can make that argument. It's just funny because, there's this idea of going back to the stoic hero. You know what I mean? These guys are like the exact epitome of what they're against. They're like hyper emotional, hyper lacking of control of their
I hear you.
Huh?
Yeah. No, I hear you. You're right.
Jimbob was triggered throughout that whole thing, though. Like, you bringing up emotions.
I think that they've taken it to this level of, like, men simply are allowed to operate as men see fit. I think it's as simple as that.
Don't you think, though, if several more generations might weed? I mean, aren't we're not far off of the paradigm where women were sort of bargained away at very young age for breeding, and there might be a gift or a dowry in return, or the men would come work on the father's farm. Like, we're not that far away from that, right? That was certainly going on in the 1800s, right?
Yeah.
So maybe it just needs a few more generations for some people. I don't know. That seems.
Oh, but that's it. That's if we get the chance, because don't you know that with the way childbirth's going right now, there might not be a human race by then.
Well,
Well,
maybe it's
I
not a
think
bad thing that we let a few billion people not necessarily
You know,
die, but age out, so to speak.
I think Thanos was right. Honestly,
what
I'm
what were
starting to
some
back
of the
Thanos. I'm starting to back Thanos up here. Just
was
half the population should be gone.
was
Well,
there
but it should be selective, not random.
were there
Yeah.
other arguments besides the open discussion? Was there any topic in general
Well,
that
the birth rate is a big one, and like Jack said, Jim Bob said that if we stay at the current levels within 2 generations, there will be no more humans because he's dumb as a bag of rocks.
Yeah.
And we have 8 billion people in the world, and we still have people that don't have access to clean water. So I'm not sure that why is it that the goal is population growth? I think that if we get to a stable population that we can actually take care of, considering the carrying capacity of the earth and the resources that we have available, that would be a much better metric to aim for than just multiplicationary growth of the population. But the other thing, the one that was big, they spent like half an hour talking, is that Jim Bob thinks that the world was created, like the world is man. So he talks about a lot about enforcing laws and enforcing things with force. And he thinks that only men do that, conveniently ignoring that there's women in positions of power. There have always been women in positions of power that have ruled, that have had armies, that have contributed to science, literature, and philosophy. Like, he's basically disregarding all the work that women have done over the years, like Mary Curie, Joan of Arc, and all of these tremendous women that gave us the modern life that we have today. And he just ignores that. And because men are a little bit stronger than women, that just grants him his position. Like, he's so wrong on that. It's kind of funny, actually.
Yep.
Well, let me ask you a question. So, has anybody ever really given serious thought to how this paradigm came into existence? Is it based on the equivalent of, my understanding as an atheist is the Bible, or that story has been many different civilizations have had that similar type story? Or is it just that women were raising children and couldn't leave to go hunting, therefore they could do a little bit of gathering? I mean, is it society dictating behavior, or is it inherent in some ways that it evolved into where it was, or where some men think it still needs to be?
I think it's actually. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead, Isa. Sorry.
I think this is one of my favorite conversations because religion is the thing I'm very interested in. So that's like my wheelhouse.
Milieu.
It's my milieu. It's my wheelhouse. So the thing is that the characters of the New Testament, the protagonists, go against that. They're mavericks against what you're talking about. They're mavericks against what Jim Bob's talking about. These people were not married. The one guy who was married left his wife. Simon Peter, the apostle Simon Peter, left his wife. We don't know if he ever returned. But these people were unmarried, or they left their wife, and they went on a quest. It was something more akin to something you would see like in a Dungeons and Dragons or some kind of RPG adventure, where they were like a band of heroes traveling across, the desert. They were not your conventional, traditional folks that were into reproducing, quote unquote. None of the heroes are. So it's like, it's bizarre when people are like, wow, this is a part of this is what we're supposed to do. I'm like, that's not what these heroes did. And if you really like these heroes, are you going to live like the heroes did? That's the thing. And I keep echoing it because it's an important thing to echo, because these people did not live the worldview that these people are espousing. Christ didn't do it. The apostles didn't do it. It just didn't happen. So
See, my question predates religion, though. I mean, if you look at other species, you see similar behavior, right? You see similar behavior in most mammals, where not all, and I'm not going to say it's obviously there's also humans that the tribe of women in those tribes do all the hunting, but the mass majority of species of animals, the male is the one that does the strutting around and the gathering and all that kind of stuff. So is it more than just religion and or beliefs? Is it just ingrained in our DNA?
There is a little bit of biological drive. I mean, most women wouldn't just abandon their baby because they carry it with them for 9 months. So the bond is a little bit stronger than with parents. But it doesn't have to be the determining factor. Humans are not driven by instinct. So it kind of falls apart.
Well, that's not true. There's people that say the opposite, that millions of years of animalistic behavior becomes, it is instinctual for the most part. For example,
but we can override our instincts.
Of course, I'm not arguing against. Obviously, we're thinking sentient beings, but I'm just going for the base. How did it become this way, and how did it evolve to where it is, where he believes it, not just because of probably teachings that he was told, but he sees it around him in everything. It's everywhere. You can't get away from it.
Well, see, that's why I brought up the point that I brought up. There's a reason why I brought it up, because I'm like, that it's just not the case always. You have mavericks against the system. And I think it's really interesting that people who believe in these organized religions believe in these heroes. And particularly in this tradition that we're talking about, the tradition called Christianity, the heroes are exactly the opposite of this narrative that's being espoused. And I think that's important. It's funny that he's promoting a system that has nothing to do with the religion that he's connecting it with. So
are you speaking specifically about Jesus, though? Or are you talking about the religion?
No,
all of them. The
protagonist in the religion, though.
The protagonist of the New Testament. That's Jesus, the apostles, and Paul, right? And I would say Paul would be included in the apostles. These entire host of protagonists, the heroes of the text, none of them are into that. None of them are into procreation, reproducing. It's not important. They don't care about it. It's not their interest. And I think that's so fascinating that these people promote this message of reproduction, family values, all of this stuff that has nothing to do with the heroes.
Where do you think that came from? Where do you think the shift was?
Their European culture, their culture of the European culture. That's where those values come from. You could say it comes from Enlightenment. It comes much later down the line. Wow. It's not from even the church fathers. This is not an issue.
It's not biblical.
No.
Yeah,
no.
I agree.
Because, for example, the problem is that they don't read the Bible. They don't do any of the homework. Jimbob said that the topic of slavery came up. And Mahleej asked him, how do you justify that slavery is wrong? And Jimbob said, unironically, Christian values. And he's like, you're wrong on that, because Jesus, Paul, slaves obey your masters, right? So you also have the people that justified slavery on the Bible. So you cannot say that is the metric, because if it works both ways, if you can interpret the Bible as supporting slavery, which many people did in the South, in the US, I think it's the story about when one of the sons of Noah sees Noah naked and gets cursed to have darker skin and be subservient to their brothers. They use that to justify slavery. And then you have other people that use the Bible to justify the the abolishing of slavery. So it can't be that the Bible was the thing, because if you can support both positions, then you're wrong.
I think that's why a lot of people take the New Testament to be the Bible, and they ignore all the past because of the baggage that comes with it.
Yeah, the problem is that if you do that, then Jesus was just a guy. The point of Jesus is that he fulfilled messianic prophecies. Spoiler alert, he didn't. He didn't fulfill one, but that's another case. That's another debate.
I want to tell you something.
1 second. Pable for 750 Uruguayan pesos, and there is still the stereotype that a woman is valid based on her beauty. She has nothing more to offer. Yeah, that is also true. It's all about looks with these people. Isa, sorry, go ahead.
You're fine. I think what was hilarious to me was that story you brought up, because they say, "Oh, because it's Ham." Like he basically laughs at Noah for being, according to the story, being naked and drunk, right?
Yep.
And so he gets burnt skin, which doesn't mean his skin was black, because there's different degrees of burn. Like you could have a 3rd degree burn and you actually kind of look white, because you're all the superficial skin is burned off. And so it's actually interesting. It depends on what the degree of burn you get is. So I think that's a fascinating point. But the other point is the people who are instituting this, it's just like an ironic thing. I'm like, why do you think you're chosen? You're not an Israelite. You're just some random person of European ancestry. Why do you have any connection to this text? Your ancestors, were maybe Celts, Normans, Saxons, like Goths. Like, you have nothing to do with this text. Why do you think you're privileged by this text, that it gives you any rights? You can't prove any descendancy from Noah's lineage. You just retcon yourself in. I've heard people of European ancestry tell me this. They're like, I'm a descendant of Japheth. I'm like, can you prove that? Can you prove that you're a son? You're a son of a Saxon or a Goth or a Norman. That's what you're the son of. Own your own lineage. Don't try to retcon yourself into some other lineage. It's sad. It's pathetic.
Or even worse, Isa, a product of one of the many Arabic incursions into Europe.
Yeah.
So they might have some, some Arabic DNA, some Mongol DNA, some until you get tested, you don't know where you actually came
mixed
from.
up. They're probably mixed up, and it's hilarious that these people believe, particularly like with white supremacy. It's like my favorite thing to look at. I'm like, you guys really are sad. You have an inferiority complex, and you don't even know what you are. You're a hybrid of multiple identities, and you don't even know what you are. And then you try to tie yourself to this text of people that you hate. You hate the Israelites, but you depend on their text. You've stolen valor. You're stealing their religion. You're stealing their culture, and you don't even have a culture of your own. Your whole culture is dependent on an ancient Israelite culture. That's sad, man. I pity you. I feel bad for you.
Can we just go back to WASPs? Because Christian nationalists, they're basically WASPs. If you know what a WASP is.
Yeah, it's white Anglo-Saxon
Protestant.
White Anglo-Saxon Protestant, because that's all evangelicals are. They're WASPs. It's just a better, easier way of saying it, and it kind of matches.
Well, is there anything more than that they need? Correct me if I'm wrong, but like those types of Christians need Israel to be around to fulfill like the rest of the Bible, right? Like to fulfill the end times. That's all. That's what I've understood.
I think you're giving people too much credit. The religious industrial complex isn't about teaching or origin stories. It's about, like there's plenty of these, people that think the Pilgrims landed on Plymouth Rock and Uncle Sam and Jesus were standing there with a bald eagle on their shoulder driving a Jeep Wrangler, and that's the furthest they'll go into their right.
I love that.
Right? But the church doesn't teach that, right? I'm an atheist, but I was forced to go to Bible school, and a time my parents forced me to go to church, and the way at least in America, there's no origin story or who's the original, like that. None of that exists, in my opinion.
Or you get the whitewashed of the Pilgrims came and they invited the Indians and they all had a feast and everything was dandy
good.
and
It
it's
is
all
good.
Yankee Doodle Dandy, by the way.
Max, for $2 Singaporean, I just wanted to tell you in public that what? No, don't do that to me. That my vein goes like don't don't. Wait 1 second.
Well, it does
because
serve you right for you missed his last super chat on the previous live stream, so he's a lot.
Yes,
bad.
I do. I missed this super chat that was at the end of the last show with Rusted Soul for $2 Singaporean. Said 2 or 3 more hours, and I missed it, and I profusely apologize. Max, thank you so much.
I want to super chat your cat $10 for that opening salvo. I've got an orange cat, so I've got but he's not nearly as persistent as your cat.
Oh my God.
Okay.
Cat doesn't give a fuck. He's a terrorist. I think Roger said that Cat is a terrorist, and I agree. He terrorizes me. He does domestic violence on me. I don't know why I put up with it, but I love the freaking critter. So I don't know. I guess I'm stuck with it.
Yeah,
Cute kitty.
I see. You do know that Yankee Doodle was a satire song about.
That's why you wrote that. Yeah. I definitely recall that at some point in my upbringing that I remember being like.
I just think it's hilarious that turned out being like a hit over here somehow. Like puts a feather in his cap and calls it macaroni.
It is funny. Yeah, we all have like I think the school system, right, has like their general like different songs they'll release, whatever, like growing up, but it's fine.
I think that's one of the songs.
To learn that.
I think that's one of the songs that permeated through every school.
It's so wild that to even think like Max or other people that might be in the side chat, like we every day we stood up for the Pledge of Allegiance, right? And it's like Max never experienced that, like her, like other people that are not American. So it's like that was just such a big part of our childhood.
Hold on, because I did pledge allegiance to the flag of Uruguay.
But was it the same of the Uruguay and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God?
Hold on.
The republic, which is a nation under one nation under God, indivisible with justice, with liberty and justice for all. Yeah, I remember that. But
Juro de la bandera, texto. I swear to honor and respect my flag that represents the sovereignty and dignity and the glorious history of my country, the República Oriental del Uruguay.
I like that.
No God, no nothing. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that better.
I like that better. Yeah.
Have to pledge.
It is funny though, like just to go back to it, like Americans, like I think everyone in the chat really is. It's like it was different, right? And we all stood up every day at the announcements, like for whatever our elementary school was.
I think most countries have some form of nationalism.
I know.
I mean, we weren't exactly the Hitler
it's tribal. It's tribal, like for sure. But like again, it's just funny that like we probably all had different songs that we learned along the way, and like the way to remember the states of our country, or like little quips here and there that were just totally we never even bring up now in our adulthood, but it was a big part of our childhood, I think.
You know what's hilarious? I went to private school, so I never had to do the Pledge of Allegiance.
Really?
You don't have to do that at private school.
Where'd you grow up? What part of the country?
I'm from Philadelphia, but it's
okay,
Pennsylvania. But at Friends School, you don't have to do stuff. Like I went to Waldorf, I went to Montessori, I went to Friends School, I went to private school. I went to like a private boarding school. Yeah, I never had, and I went to charter school, so none of my schools required that. I think they do that in public schools, so I've never been to a public school.
Yeah.
It was innocent. It was innocent patriotism for children.
It
wasn't meant to be anything more than that.
Yeah.
And those schools or those people that made it more, that was a huge mistake. It was just a way to start the day, sort of.
I think you're right. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I hope it was. I hope people
just
took
something
it that
to
way.
do.
Tell me.
Yeah, just patriotism, right? Like there was
Tell
never
me.
like a nationalistic, like anybody's beneath anybody sort of thing, and that is
Mhm.
sort of
Tell
kind
me,
of the narrative nowadays. But
Did any of
Ooh.
y'all have to pray for 5 minutes in homes?
No, I
homeland?
have never
Homeland.
prayed.
Yeah, we were kind of forced to every day in school.
Never,
For
not even once.
5 minute time of silence or something like that.
Eric
we
E, Master of Flat Earth, has a great question. Is a sorry, is a pledge of allegiance valid if the child is forced to say it?
It's a good question.
Great question.
I don't remember ever anybody ever being serious about forcing anyone to say it, or even checking up that you were saying it. Like you could
he
mumble or
hasn't.
mouth it, or just keep your mouth shut and say nothing. I don't think I ever said it after fourth grade.
And I grew up in a religious household personally, and it never even crossed my mind that under God was part of it. It was always just an allegiance to the country.
Agreed.
Nothing more than that.
Yeah.
Like it was
Yeah.
simple.
Generalization.
Max, in Argentina, do you swear to the flag, or do you promise the flag, or do something like that? Because I don't remember. I'm asking Max there in the chat.
Yeah.
We do. Okay. Let me. Jura de la bandera Argentina texto. A promise to defend and respect it with brotherly tolerance and respect, studying with firm will, committing to be free and just citizens, accepting solidarity in our differences to all of those who live in our land, transmitting in each and every one of our acts the permanent values. Hold on, because I need to open it more. One second. Come on, load.
Where does Max live? Max V.
Max in Singapore now, but he's from Argentina.
Okay.
I like that better than ours, quite frankly.
I mean, I think all of them are similar.
We're quite secular down here, so it doesn't. And Argentina is more religious in general than we are. But yeah, there's no mention of God so far. And
I think if you take God out of the Pledge of, if you take God out of the Pledge of Allegiance, it's still quite just patriotic.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like,
It's a declaration it goes with the Declaration of Independence. I mean, it's basically saying that we are one nation under God. It's just again, it's like a tip of the hat. I don't think it's
like
meant to be
in there.
Yeah. Like there's places
with
where
liberty and justice for
unfortunately
all. Everything applies to a secular human. Besides the one part, everything can apply, I think, equally to like someone just maintaining their sovereigns and just being like a good human among other humans.
And the problem is that they take it. I don't think that it's wrong to be proud of where you are, to be proud of your country and so on. But they take it to the extreme, to the point of like, America, hell yeah.
Yeah, see, that's how I felt like growing up. It was
and that's satire. Like
America,
people like sort of embrace that, but it's like we joke about it, right? It's like it's funny because like we just say America, right? Like here we are, but it's never serious. Like it's all in jest.
Well, but then you end up seeing fucking what's his name shooting an Uzi at a case of Miller Lite. I mean that's where it gets people get confused very easily on patriotism.
Max says we're socially religious. Most people are baptized for the ceremony, but going to church, praying, etc., is only done by a small amount of people, smaller every year. A lot, at least in the capital, the countryside, and most provinces can be a bit more religious. Oh yeah, I remember I lived in San Justo, Santa Fe, which is in Argentina. Max knows where that is. It doesn't matter. It's a small province, 50,000 people, and it was bizarre to see that many people going to church when I heard the bells. Like actually bizarre, because here you will have the Archbishop of Montevideo like literally begging for people to come back to church because he needs that dollar bills, yo.
Listen, I remember going to church camp when I was a kid. I remember looking to my left and being like, why are these people like raising their hands and singing, right? Like it's just weird. It's just like, and then eventually I actually did it at the church camp, right? And I'm like, what is this? Like I'm trying to like feel what they're feeling, right? Like, and it's probably similar in a way, right? Like existentially, like to like just be like kind of like what is going on? All these people buy into this, why? Like and trying to kind of dissect the culture and understand it and just being like it just feels like all these people are a part of something that I just don't see, kind of thing, I guess.
Yeah.
But
It's also human nature a little bit to, I mean, peer pressure. It may not be pressure, but the need to fit in and not be the one singled out. That's what drives adolescence, for God's sake, you know?
could
Yeah.
be. Yeah, could be. I just felt like I was trying to put myself into like maybe something that I'm missing and I just never kind of connected, I guess.
And did you?
No, no, yeah,
Or
I
were you just
never
trying to figure
did.
out which kid had the pot?
I think that it's very. What'd you say, Jack? Try to figure out which
Oh, I
kid had
said,
the what?
yeah, were you trying to figure out which kid had the pot?
Yeah.
Had the pup?
The weed, the doobies.
Oh no, dude! I was totally innocent. Like at this time, I'm trying to like actually like figure out like what I'm. Maybe I need to like really buy into God and read scripture
That
daily,
wasn't a bad
etc.
period of your life, though. I think everybody can remember. Like, I remember going to camp in like elementary school, and it was just, I mean, yeah, I mean, there was a little bit of the stupid shit kids do, but for the most part, it was wholesome and it was fun. I mean, I remember liking camp for the week that we would go. It was enjoyable.
Yeah, I
And it
Right.
agree,
was
But
corny, but
100%.
it was wholesome fun.
Well, but like it was like, hey, we're here, right? Like, let's see what we can kind of like do with one another. That's not necessarily kosher with the church. Was like my kind
right.
of
But
feeling about it. I had a
like
girlfriend on
for
the trip, right? Like, and we.
for example, it's the community aspect of it. You could get the same community aspect if you're part of like a pee-wee football team, like a pee-wee soccer team. You get that same kind of a thing without the whole
There's not
baggage.
like the taboo though. Like the taboo is kind of the fun part. Maybe I'm misinterpreting what Jack's saying, but it's like
Yeah, my
kind of
stuff was
like,
completely non-religious, right? Because I
Oh,
did go
okay.
to a church
okay.
retreat once, and it was more like fucking homework all day.
Right. So, but yeah, I mean, the community aspect of it, I don't.
Yeah, for sure.
I wouldn't want to take that away from people,
Well, I
but
think again,
it's
I
not
think if you
something that. One second. It's not something that you cannot get outside of the church.
I think
You
you're
can.
exactly right. I think that that's a big part of why it succeeds in general is because, hey, we're all just trying to live life. We're trying to do good. We're trying to have values. We have values that we can like look to. Granted, like cherry picked, right? But like there are like the Ten Commandments and like the trying to do right and look at what Jesus says, etc. That I think Issa kind of spoke about momentarily about how the New Age Christian seems to be vastly different. And like when we get away from those values, that's where you get a lot of the like, hey, what are you guys kind of doing sort of thing that comes up in debates like this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The Ten Commandments just seem like logical rules of ethics, of human ethics to me.
Well, have
Like,
you seen the
Yeah.
Satanic Temple, the tenets of the Satanic Temple? I mean, I would argue that they're better in terms of we're looking out for humanity and all of the things like take care of the like, I can't quote them, but like I've looked over them and been like, wow, this is
Those
the Ten Commandments, but better.
the Ten Commandments are literally stolen from the Egyptian Book of the Dead. So in the Egyptian Book of the Dead, when you get to the afterlife, they weigh the heart and they ask questions like, I have not they ask questions. No, you're supposed to make statements like, I have not stolen, I have not lied, I have not committed adultery, and so on. And those get transformed into like prescriptions, rather than I did not do this, you shall not do that. So even the Ten Commandments are not exclusive, and before Christianity, there was society for a very long time, and those societies had laws. Those societies had rules against stealing and against murder and against a bunch of stuff. So this idea that goes around within this circle of people that, oh yeah, all Western society owes everything to Christianity. Like, no, it doesn't. It
really
just doesn't.
It really doesn't.
Someone like Jim Bob, I know Wilson. I'm pretty sure he has, but like, has he looked into like the tenets of the Satanic Temple and sort of contrasted the two between one another or something? Just because, like, I've actually asked people in my family that are religious, like, hey, I'm not satanic, right? You have to lead with that, but like, have you even looked at like what they actually say? And like, it's a misconception. It's like the satanic panic of the 90s sort of thing. It's like, it's just all bad and demonic and sacrificing babies and all this sort of thing. It's like, no, it's absolutely, it only has to do with humanity and furthering our scientific knowledge and trying to like better ourselves. And it's just totally different than what most of them think.
I think a lot of religious people are more closed-minded than an atheist or somebody who's
Yeah.
agnostic. In that, it's one thing to say, hey, if you want to believe in what you believe in, that's fine. Just don't impose it on me. But that feeling, and I'm not saying obviously everybody's like this, but the feeling is not the same. My father who, he dropped bombs in fucking war on people, innocent people, and killed people, children and women who had nothing to do with the fighting. He got remarried and found a woman and went to church and became very religious. And he once in a phone call that I'm going to go to hell. He's scared that I'm going to hell. So he wanted me to become religious. And I told him I couldn't have a conversation with this man. A college-educated military man who's very logical and smart. I could not have a conversation about religion and or why I don't believe in it. So, granted, that's maybe generalizing rather, but I find that to be the case with a lot of people I've talked to that are religious.
Well, that's because they turned
What's
that
that,
whole. I was saying, they turn that whole logical center of their brain off whenever they start talking about religion, and it's pretty much a defense mechanism, so they don't have to listen to any criticism.
Let me read a couple of messages. 1 second. Pablo asked to Max if he remembered it was a bishop. It was a Uruguayan bishop criticizing a song from a girl, like this reggaeton thing, like kind of Latin pop kind of music. I put the link there for those of you who speak Spanish. That was hilarious. And then Calder said the Book of the Dead, the Necronomicon. The Necronomicon doesn't exist. The Necronomicon is a fictional book that exists within a book that a crazy Arab wrote, but the Necronomicon itself doesn't exist. It's a fictional book within another fiction. What I was talking about is the Egyptian Book of the Dead, which is basically what dictated their afterlife. It shows, there are hieroglyphics of this. It shows the process of the weighing of the heart, and you can see the scale. The heart goes in one plate, and in another was a feather. And if your heart weighed more than the feather, then you went to the bad place. And if you hadn't committed any crimes, any of the moral prescriptions, then you went to like the good place. But no, the Necronomicon is fictional. It's a fictional book within a fictional story. All right. I think it's time we start wrapping up. So we'll do final thoughts and we'll be on our way. Isa, would you like to start us off?
So to kind of wrap it up, looking at the openings, I think Mahleej came on top of that. I agree with the critique on her approach as well. I think she's been doing it for a while, and I think I think both of them, I have to advise this, they need to do more preparation. They need to be more like you and I, Max. Like, we make presentations, we put effort into this.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
like I come in and I just do it off the cuff. I felt both of them just did it off the cuff. They didn't even have like a script or an outline that they were working from. That would have been good to have, and then it makes your stuff organized, because your whole debate needs to be dependent on your intros. So both of them were pretty subpar. I think Mahleej comes up a little bit on top because she's making some kind of coherent position. Like, basically what we heard in Jim Bob's position, just a bunch of doom and gloom paranoia that we see from people who call themselves conservatives. We see this kind of doom and gloom paranoia. So I don't know, doom and gloom paranoia just doesn't impress me. It's the same thing with this Mamdani race. I keep seeing doom and gloom paranoia, and I'm like,
Oh, yeah.
it's so ridiculous. I'm like, the dude is like pretty much like a centrist or a leftist in Europe and probably South America as well. He's not some extreme communist. They don't exist. They're not here. It's just the boogeyman. So I feel that Jim Bob is promoting the boogeyman, and it's not impressive. So the openings, not so good. The open discussion, I mean, I don't know, it was weird. Like, even with the moderation, I'm sorry, it was a strange commentary from the moderation, and the kind of conversation was bizarre. It just seemed like a lot of like fire blowing and not too much like engaging the substance of these issues, and like weird hypothetical scenarios. So I was not impressed by that either. I think I did appreciate Mahleej's smirks and kind of rebuffs, visually speaking. So she gets points for that. I mean, I guess Jim Bob has some somewhat interesting rhetoric, but it doesn't appeal to me. I'm going to be transparent. Like, if I was trying to be persuaded by what he was saying, all I heard was doom and gloom paranoia. Like, it was the same kind of doom and gloom paranoia. Like, this is scary liberal stuff. The one thing that was interesting is Mahleej did have an ace up her sleeve, and I'm a Desi too. I'm coming from a South Asian background as well. I know about South Asian culture, so Mahleej is not wrong at all. Pakistan is in dire straits, and he couldn't even say Pakistan correctly. He kept saying Pakistan. And I was like, yeah, and the point was, she made a valid argument. She says, your fanatical belief is something I come from. I escaped the position of the fanatical belief that you're promoting. And he's like, my fanatical belief is good. It's perfect. And I'm like, yeah, your fanatical belief promoted the enslavement of human beings. We also had segregation in the United States not too long ago. Jim Crow is in the time of people that I can speak to right now. Segregation, sharecropping, Jim Crow, black codes, like all of this stuff existed, and that was your so-called wonderful Christianity. Your narrative promoted these things. So I'm like, civil rights forced presidents to get out of this. These movements where people were abused, they forced the kind of diabolical elements of his worldview to be undermined. So she completely accurately, I think, and I wish we brought this up earlier, accurately got him on that point of like what a regressive space produces, because his worldview is a part of what happened in America. And and you're trying to pretend it's not a part, it's not in the memory. I saw it in the microfilm. In my own city, Philadelphia, it showed a sign in a hotel, because people could do this back then. It said, no ends, you can probably know what that means, no Jews and no dogs are allowed in this establishment. Some of them said no Irish. This is the kind of country that the United States had. We have a dark history. We have a dark past. And trying to erase the past and trying to whitewash it and make it sanitized is disgusting and gross. But the thing is, Jim Bob tried to take this position of like, his world, his culture is such a great thing. And I'm like, I've seen the products of your culture. They're not that great. They're very abusive to my culture. My culture suffered under your so-called the greatness of your culture. So when Mahleej brought that up, it's solid. It was a based argument, and I think that won her the debate. Like, to me, that was an oppressive hand. he doesn't know anything about Pakistan, so
No.
he can't actually refute that position. He's just like, well, they're terrible Muslims. And I'm like, yeah, those fanatical Muslims are not any different than you, but you just have your skin tone is just a little bit lighter. That's it. And in some places it's not. You probably have the same features, same texture, everything. But so that was in the open discussion. Now with the Q&A, it was just a bunch of regressive, horrible comments. Any woman who saw that would be sickened.
Yeah.
Any woman who saw that stuff, and me as a man, I was sickened by looking at it. I was like, I don't want to hear this nasty, terrible stuff. And I mean, it just made me feel really bad about the current state affairs of society, where people feel it's okay. They're paying money to say horrible things. I'm like, that's added to it. It's not that they're just saying terrible things in the chat. They're paying money to say terrible things in the chat. So the Q&A was a dumpster fire, and a lot of it was like attacking her, like insulting her character and insulting her as a person. She took it in style though, but I was very upset about that. I was like, this is disgusting. And I'm like, why do you feel entitled to do that? And I don't know. I think the platform, I would encourage the platform to kind of go in a direction that promotes like healthier Q&A, healthier questions, and kind of supporting that. Like, you just having the Wild West where anybody can say anything, and you could say like you could pay $20 and just be told you get to say the most horrible, heinous things. It's like, I don't know, it's problematic. There's something that doesn't rub right from looking at that, and just the disgusting things that they said to her really were terrible. There were critiques on Jimbob too. I have to
that was Basil. That was Basil that was mocking him for wearing a sleeveless shirt. That's why I put on my tank top, because I wanted to trigger him also.
So the thing was, Jimbob had some critiques, but they weren't like, it was not the same level of critique, like the kind of venom that you see, like the idea of kind of calling her a prostitute and a whore and all of this stuff. I'm like, this is sickening. And I'm like, you would never say that to a man. Like, and that, I think that proves her point, that we live in this kind of very dysfunctional society where men are treated in a certain way and women are treated in a certain way, and they're not treated the same.
Well, I think it's the sense of entitlement that he has. I'm sorry to interrupt.
I agree. There's definitely an entitlement. So the question and answers were like, it made me sick. I don't think there was closing arguments, right? I don't think they made closing arguments.
No, I don't know. We already started the after show by the end.
I was there.
I was bored as hell.
I came in a little bit later. I did not see a closing argument. It was kind of like, it just sort of ended. You know what I mean? Like, that was kind of my experience. It just ended. And then when it ended, I came in. So it was like, I felt like, overall, my final thoughts. I'm sorry, I'm taking a little bit longer. I just wanted to make sure we covered the entire debate too, because
we did
other conversation. So just made sure to do that in my final statement. I feel Mahleej came on top overall. I think her like shining moment was when she brought up Pakistan, and I don't think he could make any real defense against it. She basically just said, my worldview isn't Pakistan, and I'm like, why? You haven't explained why it isn't. And she's like, I escaped your regressive space. And she said, if your people were in power, it would be Pakistan. And I was like, oof, that's rough.
Yeah, he had no rebuttal to that other than dismiss it and say, oh no, that my values are different. It's like, no, they're not. It's like, it's the same thing.
So I think that she had a pretty stellar win with that argument. I think there were missing elements of her case, but I think in really engaging in the dialogue, like, he basically just said, my worldview's cool, it's awesome, it's amazing, and abortion's evil. And I'm like, okay, cool, all right, what do you have to offer? What does your worldview have to offer, and what is it based in? And really, it was just kind of conservative pleasantries. It was not really any substantive argument. And I think that's the people who support these kind of folks are people who I don't really think have any real grounding of what they believe. And they like the kind of strongman approach where you have a tough guy who talks tough, and they cling on to that because they actually don't have any real identity or grounding of their own. So that's really my kind of analysis in a nutshell.
All right, thank you so much. Max says for $2 Singaporean terrible things, and then also said a comedian in Argentina phrased it wonderfully when speaking about a TV show there. Men can't avoid their penal camaraderie, if that makes sense. Yeah, it does. Even when interviewing their ideological enemy.
Was it like 70-30 crowd mix for JimBob? Like it normally is?
Yeah, pretty much. Final thoughts. Who wants to go next? ICP?
I'll go next. That's fine. I didn't see the debate, but based on the discussion, it seems par for the course. I just, I don't want to speak on anything I didn't see or speculate, but from what I've seen in the past, JimBob is a very sort of extreme misogynistic purveyor of male dominance, sort of, and I don't think that it's biblical at all. But he does he's very crafty in the way that he cherry picks and picks specific things that further the I guess male values and the women's place in society, and it's very persuasive to some, and I think it's toxic overall, to be honest. And again, I'm not speaking on what I saw. He could have been the best, example of someone that's not misogynist ever in this debate. I just would have no other way of knowing, but I've seen him kind of run the gamut of this narrative in past. So that's what I'm speaking on, and I do think that it's valuable to challenge that idea of Christianity, and I think that Isa had brought it up earlier that it's just not biblical, and they sort of kind of make it biblical, right? And they have this sort of clique that buy into what they're doing, and I think apologetics on the whole is really not super about the Bible. It's about how can you argue for this sort of opposition, this ill-defined opposition that is just going against whatever they call nothingness of like atheism or whatever. So I don't know, but for what it's worth, I think that anybody that goes up against JimBob, even like FTFE, it's important to kind of like look at what the new age Christianity has kind of evolved into and try to maybe contrast that with what actual biblical principles that Jesus spoke about. And it would be really hard for them, I think, to combat that on a very basic level. So.
Craig is going to be debating JimBob on its evolution through. What a fucking waste. He told me I'm going to be debating JimBob on evolution on the bacon, and I was like, oh my fucking god, what a disaster. Like JimBob has no fucking idea. Like all he has the flat earth. It's like, oh, you can't do experiment, it's not science. That's the argument for evolution on JimBob. It's like that's the argument. You can't do experiments, it's not science. Like,
you think he knows, like, or do you think that he doesn't?
Yeah, he
like
knows.
About.
He knows.
Well,
he knows about evolution and like the science about about it, and
we've done experiments on evolution.
Because some of them, like, right?
I mean,
some of them are probably smart, like, and they can debate and shit, and they just have not looked into evolution. But he's like smart enough to know that evolution is real and still goes against it, sort of thing.
I don't know if he's married enough, but he has for sure been told by people of all walks of life how he's fucking wrong about evolution, and he continues to their pout. Remember, he's a moon landing denier, evolution denier, Flurf. So, sure. I mean, what do you expect? Zumi, final thoughts.
I have to say Mahleej really won this tonight, but at the same time, she had a lot of terrible arguments along with a lot of great arguments. I mean, it's pretty much put down the center, but JimBob just didn't bring anything really.
Yeah, if you manage to get Jimbo to just start like mocking your accent, it's because he has less than nothing.
Oh yeah, knocking
Yep.
your accent later on.
That's the telltale sign. That's the flirt.
Yeah.
That's the flirt
Yeah,
that
that's the flirt.
it's begging to escape from him, right? Insults.
Yep.
Yeah. Jack, final thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I can't really speak to the debate since I missed it or the personalities involved, but my main comment would basically be I don't understand how anyone justifies arguing against feminism, as it seems more of a human rights issue, and no one wants to be in a group that's on the opposite side of human rights issues. So I don't understand how this argument is made in the first place, and it really just seems like insecure men, or in this particular case, one guy, in fear of his perceived dominance over the world or his control of his environment, and that being in danger if he doesn't, if he's not the master of his own universe. So that's my only comment.
I was going to tell you something and I forgot. Fuck me. But yes, I agree. I think it reeks of insecurity. Oh, yes, Jimbo doesn't want women to he doesn't want women to vote, and they don't. That little group, they don't believe in human rights. They say that it's like, look, if my society decides that every human has the right to live, that is as real as any other thing, because we agreed that that's real. It doesn't have to be, you don't have to touch it, you don't have to feel it, because you accept laws and you actually go by the laws. So laws, human rights, same thing. They don't have to be tangible for us to accept that they're real. We agree every human has a right to life, water, food, etc., etc. It's like, okay, we agree. Then that's it. You don't need God. You don't need grounding. You don't need them to be written in tablets of stone in the presidential house, in the presidential palace, or whatever. None of that is needed. If we agree that human rights are real, they are. Because there's a lot of things like, I don't know, lines of longitude and other things that we agree are real, and they don't have any tangible thing attached to them. So their argument, Jimbob's argument, falls apart every which way. The funny part is that he thinks that he won, and I think that Mahleej did fantastic. Yep. She's been growing as a debater. She still needs to do a little bit more work on preparation and getting some of the concepts cleared up, because she could have got Jimbob when he said that his views on feminism are informed by, his views on slavery are informed by Christianity, Christian ethics, and she could have pounced there, and it's like, well, some people have justified the acceptance of slavery based on Christianity, so that cannot be it. So
it's weird that religion, and I imagine it immediately became a part of the debate or the discussion, but it was not even about. It's just about feminism, right? And I would imagine that the way that it evolved is that Jimbob tried to establish the dichotomy between atheism and theism right off the get-go. And
well, he gets to justify his viewpoint.
Yeah, he thinks that by invoking Christianity, everything he says is justified, but it's not. Because he doesn't know the book. He doesn't know the book. He's lying through his teeth about many stuff. He invoked a bunch of statistics we never got, invoked a bunch of stuff we never got, invoked like evidence and so on. It's like we didn't get any of that. So
I mean, if you think about it, like if there's a discussion about feminism, right? Like if I'm James or Ryan, whoever ran the debate, I imagine it was James. Well, if I'm James, like it's we're not bringing up religion. It's feminism. They're separate, right? Let's discuss the social issues. And if it comes up, like no, like we're not going down that road. There's no way that you need to equivocate the two because they're
Right.
completely separate issues, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the other thing is, Jimbo was just allowed to insult her, call her drunk while he was drinking beer and do all of this petty stuff, which Mahleej can take it. And it's like when he insulted me, I just laughed and I just told him, like, hey, you're mocking me. I speak 2 languages, you speak 1. You're just mocking yourself, dumbass. And that kind of stuff. But it kind of sucks that these people get free reign to do whatever the fuck they want in those debates. Like constantly interrupt. In my debate with Jimbo didn't let me finish 1 sentence uninterrupted. And then James was like, Jimbo asked me the same question 3 times. And then James asked me the question again. And I was like, James, it doesn't matter. You can ask me the question 10 more times. The answer is not going to change. If he doesn't change the framing of the question, I will not answer it. And I explained why several times, because there was like, I'm going to just give an invented example. It was like, given now that you have admitted that you killed your wife, what do you think the temperature is? So if you answer that question with, it's like 21 degrees right now, then you're implicitly accepting the first part of your question. And the dumbass just repeated the same thing over and over and over for an hour until I said, like, okay, James is not going to give me any chance to change the subject. I tried to. Jimbo went back to his own thing. It's like, okay, I'm done. Let's go to super chat, and that's it.
Right. It's like at that point, it's not really about the issues. It's about winning the debate and trying to like just make your opponent look silly. Like,
yeah.
Let's get back to the issues, right?
Trying
All
to
right.
own the limbs.
And with that, we are going to wrap it up for tonight. Tomorrow, we have potentially another one of these. It's the video is already up. It's going to be Is Christian nationalism bad for America?
Yes.
I
thought you were
Excuse me. America.
Featuring Andrew Wilson and a lady that I don't know, Casey, but I don't know who she is. So we have another one of these coming up tomorrow. It will probably go long. So guess we'll see you late whenever the debate ends. Thank you, everyone on the panel for being here. Thank you, everyone in the audience for being here. Make sure to do the social things before you go. Like, share, subscribe. Send this to a friend. Send this to your significant other. Go to the corner. Yes, the corner of your tweet. And yes, subscribe to Yerba Mate Talks. And that way we can share the love for the channel. Goodbye, Copian Emporium, and everyone else. We'll catch you tomorrow. Take care. Have a great night. Bye-bye.
Thank you. See ya.